It's twice the current tech market. So Apple, Amazon, Google, add them all up, times it by 2. That's what this is supposed to be. That's a Citibank statistic. That's a bank. Yeah, if someone says, hey, I want to buy this token, we're going to make sure they buy the right token. And we're going to make sure they understand what they're buying. And then we're going to make sure they know how to sell it. Getting people together, doing deals, having fun, having community, building, strengthening the community. It's incredible.
Hello everyone, this is Meina, your crypto friend. Today I'm really excited to have Nick Rotola as my guest, the founder of Web3 Gallery, the only Web3 store in New York City. Let's welcome Nick right now. Hi Nick, thank you for coming to my channel.
Yeah, thank you, Meina. It's great to be here. I'm so excited.
Yep, so before we dig into the interview, do you want to provide a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Nick. I'm the CEO of Web3 Gallery. Soon to be named something else, but we're the only Web3 store in the world. So there's a lot of NFT galleries in the world. There's a lot of pop-ups. We're sort of the only permanent Web3 store concept, kind of like an electronics store, like a Best Buy or a Apple store for Web3.
That's great. What about your personal experience? How did you land to create like Web3 Gallery?
Yeah, so I come from a big family. I did business school and all that. I was a professional baseball player. I made it to AA, which is our minor league in the US. And
amazing.
Thank you. I have another company I started in college that kind of sort of pays my bills and lets me focus on big things. And I wanted to focus on big things. So I thought that was real estate development. Worked on some really big buildings to turn them into apartments and sort of get tax credits and all these things. So I got really good at that, and it's a really competitive industry. You have to really do your research, back everything by data. And so I just took that same work ethic and concept and applied it to Web3. Our first project was called Floki, which had a lot of success.
Yeah.
And we noticed a big hole in the market for stores when we were at Floki. And so we decided to leave and start building it. So we exited in December, and we've been building this ever since.
Wow, great. Floki was a great success, and congratulations on the exit and building Web3 Gallery right now.
Thank you. Yeah, we weren't, I wouldn't call us core team members, but we were part of the marketing team, and Floki was certainly a very aggressive marketing project. We had an aggressive tax, and we were kind of known for our marketing globally. So it was great experience, great team. It was really cool to be around a community that large and see how powerful it is. And that expertise is just something you can only a few people get to learn and be a part of. And so that was just a big blessing for us.
It's all great learning experience.
Right.
Floki was a big success.
Yeah, it was a big success. And one of the things was we realized to grow, we just had to keep taking market share from our competitors, and we realized that's not a sustainable way to grow. You need to bring new customers in, and there just really wasn't a good funnel to bring these normies walking outside every day that don't understand Web3 into the space. So my partner Corey and I really saw a need for stores. Really, the mass adoption of Web 1 can be completely attributed to stores. Not necessarily to Microsoft, not necessarily to Apple, but stores that help people understand what the heck am I buying? How does it work? How does it plug in? What do I use it for? Like if I'm using it for work, how so? What do I actually do to improve my work? And so we just want to be that for Web3. I mean, everybody in the industry and even outside the industry understands that our life is about to change a lot again. There's a great quote: we tend to underestimate the next 2 years. We tend to overestimate in the next 2 years how much our life will change.
Right.
And in the next 10 years, we always underestimate how much life will change. In the next 10 years, things are going to change drastically. Tokenization of assets and just owning everything you're doing online. It's just, we're spending so many hours online and we don't own any of it. It's just incredible.
I know, and people doesn't even realize the fact that they don't even own anything, and which is a problem.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the reason why we're here talking about the mass adoption of Web3 and talking about Web3 Gallery, a great company that you are building right now. Do you want to provide a short description or introduction to it? Yeah.
So Web3 Gallery is not really a gallery anymore. We're currently undergoing a rebrand that we'll be rolling out, and then we haven't announced yet, but we will be announcing that. We really consider ourselves an electronics store, kind of like Apple or Best Buy, but for Web3. So if you think about Best Buy, you walk in, they have a laptop section, they have a TV section, they have software, they have a mouse, printer, all those kind of things. And they have some other things like appliances and things like that because they have so much space. But really they set out to teach people about technology and sell them products. That's what we want to do for Web3. It's a different strategy. You're selling pretty much all digital assets. And so you need to lay out your store differently than Best Buy would or GameStop. They're actually laid out very inefficiently for Web3, so we wouldn't call them serious competition. But what we would like to do is basically take somebody from start to finish, make it as easy as possible to get into crypto, to get into Web3. And so we're in the hand-holding business. We're holding their hands. And there's about 7 billion people that need hand-holding.
Yes.
And even after you hold their hand once, they're going to need to come back and get their hand held again. You know, it's kind of like Corey helped me with my first trade was Floki, actually. Pretty awesome first trade.
Yeah.
But even the second time when I wanted to put more money in, I still had to call Corey, had to go to his house and just make sure I was doing it right. And so there's a lot of stickiness in these stores. And I think that's why it's important for us to be in every city around the world.
Exactly. So when you talk about hand-holding people from the start to finish, what exactly are you talking about?
Yeah, I think we're still figuring that out. We're about 3 months into this. We're getting better every day. But the first thing is we are looking at changing the design of the store to be simpler, more signage, things like that. I think the first step has to be education. I think the line discover the next iteration of the internet or welcome to the future or something like that sort of grabs their attention. That's been working for us. There's a great illustration that we use for the average person, which is Web 1 is really read. It's a read. You got on, you read, you got on journals, you read magazines online, you got on to read. Read about companies, like reading a pamphlet at the very beginning. Then Web 2 is exciting because now we can write. You know, we can read and we can write. So now we get to write blogs, we get to write social media posts. It's exciting. We get to contribute to Web 3 or Web 2.
Web 2.
Web 3 is read and write and own. And so what does it look like when we own the things we do online? What we essentially have done with Web 3 is created a new asset class, legitimately a new asset class. An asset class that has the ability to be more valuable than gold or oil and it has in many ways been more exciting than those. NFTs alone, and I know that's not the whole market, it's actually looks like it'll be about 10% of the market over the next 10 years or 8% or 6%. But of course metaverse is sort of fueled by NFTs. But just coming back to it, they're projecting this market to be a $13 trillion market. That is half the US GDP, the strongest GDP in the world. Almost rivals some of the other strongest GDPs in the world, you know, number 2, number 3, things like that. It's twice the current tech market. So Apple, Amazon, Google, add them all up, times it by 2, that's what this is supposed to be. That's a Citibank statistic, that's a bank. Banks don't like crypto. And they're still saying this is going to be huge. And so anyway, we start people with education. Then we got to get them a wallet. There's, you know, to go in and buy tech in Web 1, you need money. To be able to buy anything in Web 3, you need money. But the wallet's different, obviously. And the wallet is a lot more exciting than a regular wallet that you would carry around. And so we start them with a wallet, would be the second step. If we've educated them on crypto and started them with a wallet, we've done our job. We've educated them, they're in. And that's taking us about 5 to 10 minutes, full service. We're getting really good at that. And the average person in our store stays for about 15 minutes. So we have another 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, okay? And then the question is, what are we doing with that next 5-10 minutes? And that's where we're really looking for strong partners to say, hey, look, I want to be that product that the everyday person is learning about every day, all over the world. And so we're looking for those partners. Those partners help fund our project. Our project then can grow and grow and grow. Then we're adding more value to the customers, our clients. So it gets really exciting that way. There's a flywheel effect. And then every time we open a new store and every day we get better and better and better at onboarding people, making it quicker, faster. People will want to stay longer because the technology is catching on. The next bull market comes, we might have onboarded, several 100 million people basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when you educate the users to sign up for a wallet, right, what exactly are you telling them?
Yeah, I think basically what we're telling them is everything in crypto starts with a wallet. So we have the signage start with a wallet, and it's a low learning curve thing. We basically say it's like setting up a Facebook account to get into Web 2, And so let's set up this account. When it comes to seed phrase, we have sort of private rooms, special paper to write it on, all this kind of stuff. We talk about protecting your seed phrase and what you should do, what are next steps. That's why it's extremely important for us to have a strong team. This is not the business where you can get on Indeed and hire a bunch of people like you would for a new Best Buy location.
Right.
You really need people that have a pulse on the market, that really understand how to walk someone through this and what's the proper next steps after you start with a wallet. Honestly, our team is better at that than me. That's when we get into some more of the detailed stuff. What I'm really good at is taking the average person, and what I've instilled in our team is to take the average person and get them really excited about the future. One of the really exciting things that gets people motivated to follow the whole process in Web3 is when you talk about the upside. If you go into Apple in 2001 and buy a Macintosh, it's going to immediately start going down in value every minute.
Right.
It's going to depreciate. With digital assets, there's a likelihood that if you pick right, you have very high appreciation effect. And with only 1 million, 2 million buyers or sellers of NFTs, there's actually a very high percentage if you pick the right project that it's going to go up in value a lot. So we kind of get people to click, oh wait, I could be a part of this. And that's one of the exciting things is like, it's almost like you're buying a product and you're buying stock at the same time. It's like you're going to be a part of this. Yeah.
But I think in terms of the education perspective, for a normal user or an average user, it's really important to let them know there's risk in terms of holding those assets, right? Because this is such an immature market. We are still in infancy for the crypto market.
Yeah, on the risk standpoint, basically our team is trained to say, we tell this story. There's a great letter to investors in 2011 from a Bitcoin firm that was buying Bitcoin. And he told his investment group, he said, I think there's a greater than 50% chance that Bitcoin will go up 10 times in value. So if we take 2% of our portfolio, we put it into Bitcoin, it could end up being 20% of our portfolio, or it could go down to zero. And so that's kind of the conversations we tell people. And what we notice with the trends in investing, our generation is actually very interested in something like that. When you look at GameStop and some of these meme stocks, and then obviously the meme coins that had a lot of success. So our generation certainly has a different appetite for risk than our parents. And I think the average person has an understanding about that already. I think the world has done a very good job at warning people of the risks of crypto. It hasn't been something we've had to focus on it too much. It's actually almost all they think about is this is risky. And that takes you all the way to the media, and that's another issue. But the amount of negative articles about a Web3 is way out of whack, obviously. That's how they're making their money right now.
I totally agree with you. All of those mainstream media, there's almost, I feel like sometimes spreading false information about crypto. Even like before they dig into what that means, what's the proper definition, they just put the label on top of that and then spread it to everybody else. Which is not fair.
Fear is not a good thing. You can't move forward with fear. You can't innovate with fear. It's a blocker. It will stop us from innovating.
Right.
Like my partner was scared on the airplane on the way here, Corey, our co-founder. And I told him a stat that I read, which is you have a better chance of dying falling out of bed than dying on this airplane. So are you still scared? And that calmed him down. But legitimately, the risk of getting sort of scammed or some sort of danger happening in Web3 is actually very, very, very small percentage of transactions if you're educated. If you're educated, it almost all goes away. And so that's one of the reasons why we think stores are so powerful. We honestly say, hey, before you make that trade, just come in the store. Let's just make sure
everything goes well.
Yeah, because what you're doing, like let's say you buy something in DeFi. Are you getting the right contract address? How do you find the right contract?
Well, you guys actually help them with that?
Of course.
You just check everything for the users.
Yeah, if someone says, hey, I want to buy this token, we're going to make sure they buy the right token. And we're going to make sure they understand what they're buying. And then we're going to make sure they know how to sell it.
Okay.
Because that's the saddest stories we heard at Floki, was people that did make 100x and didn't know how to sell it. Because they're, you know what I mean? That's sad. And that's an issue of education. And so not only do they know how to buy it, they know how to find the right one. And those things can only be done like this, honestly. I don't think I can, even me or you, it's going to be difficult for us to get on Zoom and say, okay, share screen, let me make sure you do this. But this is a different level. That's why companies are still making so many big deals in person. There's so much to be done in person. There's so much an effect of the in-person effect. But certainly we help them buy the right thing, understand how to sell it.
Yeah. I certainly understand that's one of the core reasons why people need a store, because that almost gives them a sense of secure. Yes. But can you maybe summarize the core points that why it is so important to have in real life experience for Web3 in terms of all different kind of categories, right? NFT, DeFi, gaming, metaverse.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we've never onboarded people in the history of mankind without in real life. So we're trying to do something we've never done before, and it hasn't really been working. You know, if you look at the NFT market, as far as users, it's very stagnant. Metaverse market users, very stagnant. We had a lot of excitement last year and the year before, and a lot of the really smart people figured it out. And then I think a lot of the smart people said, okay, let me just wait for this to innovate a little bit more before I come back to it. But it's actually an easy thing to answer. We've never done it before in history without stores. So why would this work? It's a way more complicated technology than Web 1. Web 1, you buy the box, you read the instructions, and you've got a computer, and you know and you roughly know how to use it. Web 3, we can't send somebody home and say figure it out with instructions. It's too complicated right now. And there's too many duplicates, there's too many fakes, there's too many bad actors out there. So it honestly, we can make a very strong case that it needs IRL more than anything. We've done some really thorough research and data. We found that the total Web3 market to be about a $13 trillion market over the next 8 years through 2030, and the IRL piece of it to be about 2 trillion. So 2 trillion is a big number.
Yeah.
Big number. We feel like the stores piece of that will be at least half. And we feel like we have a very good head start to be a big piece of that market.
Right. You guys are the first.
We're the first.
Yes.
And we're going to do everything we can to stay in first place, including avoiding the pitfalls of other companies that get past. We study them heavily. There's a great quote from Ben Franklin, going back to the average person and growing and IRL. Ben Franklin said, if you tell me, I'll forget. And we can understand that, right? People tell us stuff all the time, we forget. If you teach me, I'll remember. Okay, you've taught me, now I remember. If you involve me, I'll learn. So it's really important people to learn.
To feel involved.
Not just remember, but we want them to learn. So they've got to get involved. So it really requires, like for example, I've done a case study, okay? One is I tried to explain OpenSea Lazy Mint by talking, okay? And I measured how long it took me. The second one is I say, take out your phone. I say, go to OpenSea.io. Say, go to resources, go to gas-free marketplace. Click that button, take a picture, click mint. Now
Wow.
you've minted an NFT.
Wow.
And in 2 minutes they say, oh my goodness, it's that easy to make an NFT. And the truth is it is.
Yeah.
And now they understand the concept. And then they can see the wallet they just set up, that NFT's in my wallet. Oh my gosh, I can cast that on the wall. I can join this Discord and be in it just because I bought an NFT. I can DM somebody on Twitter because I have the hexagon and now they respect me because I have the NFT.
Yeah.
When your mind clicks and you realize, oh my goodness, I'm spending 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day on my phone or TV or computer.
Yeah.
And I don't have a reputation online. When you sold luxury cars, you said, win the client. Drive the Lexus or the Rolls Royce or whatever, the BMW to the meeting, and now they respect you. But how are you being respected online? How? This has the ability to do that. And respect is something people will spend a lot of money on.
Yeah.
And prestige.
Of course. Do you think Web3 is going to be for everyone?
Absolutely. Think about loyalty programs of the future. Every company in the world has a loyalty program. Those, I think they'll definitely all be token gated. NFTs give you the ability to do a loyalty program combining multiple companies that regular Web2 you can't do that in Web2.
Right.
But because of missions and smart contracts and the blockchain, you could say, okay, go to Starbucks, then go to Nordstrom, then come back in here and get 10% off all three. And so just with loyalty programs alone, and we know Starbucks is rolling something out.
Right.
We've talked with at least 10 Fortune 500 companies in the last 2 weeks that are all working on major strategy. So I certainly think everyone will do it. And I think just from a banking perspective, everyone will do it.
Is it fair to say maybe they will not like every single application or every single perspective of the Web3, but at least there will be some apps that are going to be adopted by everybody in the future?
Yeah, of course. I think it's pretty clear at this point everyone will have a wallet in the future, and so I think if you're a top wallet company, I think your eyes need to be on 7 billion people, and as the population grows, they need to have an understanding, and they do, that everyone needs a wallet. I think if you're the metaverse industry, I think you have an understanding that sending somebody a link to meet you right in the metaverse is better than Zoom. It just is. You could create an environment in there. You can sort of get immersed. If you look at just the things we've seen in the last week from an AR, VR perspective, you could see, wow, the things that are coming are incredible. Yep. And now the best companies in the world are investing, billions of dollars into that tech. AI is a category that everybody needs to keep an eye on, and it marries so well with Web3. It's unbelievable. But the concept of the metaverse is it's so scalable. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Think about Justin Bieber. You might have to pay him probably around $5 million, $10 million to just come in here and hang out with us for a day, do a concert, private, all those things. With the metaverse and AI, you could hang out with an AI version of Justin Bieber in the metaverse. He could do a concert for you in your living room or whatever. It could feel super private and intimate. He could even respond to you. And you could get away with paying him $10 because another million people did it that day. So he still gets his 10 million. Yeah. But it's affordable for you and it makes sense. And you can sort of be a part of, have those conversations for $10. Yep. So with that kind of upside, and then think about sporting events. You could literally, with metaverse technology, go and I'm a big baseball fan. Right. I really like the early 2000s baseball games. I go back and watch them sometimes. They're just so cool. Yankees and all these players that I used to look up to when I was a kid. Using metaverse technology and AI, you could program all the players and the stadium, and you could go play second base in the game, and they could react to how you're playing. Right. And a lot of this tech already sort of exists. We just need to sort of just continue innovating, having it make sense, and make it scalable. But this is all very doable. And as this technology continues, again, it's hard. We underestimate the next 10 years. Right. It is hard to overestimate the next 10 years. Yep. But I'm telling you, we've gotten very connected with people in the market. You're very connected with people in the market. The world's changing. The world is definitely changing. I totally agree with you. On the part that we will only be underestimating the future because nobody can imagine
what's going to happen. We cannot predict what kind of new innovations going to appear in the future. And things always happen faster than we have expected to be. I understand why you have such a big vision for the mass adoption for Web3, but actually I had this conversation with a lot of different founders in the crypto space, and some of them has expressed a different view. They think essentially because there are such a sharp learning curve for Web3 technology, so it necessarily not going to work for everybody. It may only work for the people who are willing to learn. What are your takes on that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of industries that are going to move over to NFTs, Web3. I don't think you'll be able to go to an event in the future without having an understanding of NFTs and having a wallet. So if people are going to attend events in the future or movies or things like that, I think they'll understand the technology. I understand the perspective of those founders. Generally, their customer is, they want builders, they want developers, they want builders building dApps and things like that.
Right.
I think from that perspective, it's obviously not going to be for everybody. I don't see anybody, the average person building a dApp or contributing to blockchain technology in that way. But as far as just consuming it, like you would buy a smartphone, the data really says more than anything I could say from an opinion standpoint.
Right.
The data set from Citibank says metaverse alone is going to be a $13 trillion economy. That basically means that everybody's going to be doing it. If you think about Apple as the number one or number two smartphone company at maybe 2 trillion, Samsung at 150 billion, 250 billion, something like that. That's nothing compared to 13 trillion.
Exactly.
And they've got everybody.
Yeah.
And so I don't see how you can get to 13 trillion without everybody. And also just discussing with these Fortune 500 companies and their sort of vision for the future, it involves Web3. And unless we're going to stop using these products that we've used our whole life, or these services we've used our whole life, or attending events we've done our whole life,
right.
If they're moving over to Web3, we're going to have to move with it. And it'll be really easy for us.
So people, when I actually talk to people on the street asking their understanding about metaverse, all they know is about Meta, like what Zuckerberg is trying to create. And I try to explain to them, Meta is not the only company that's trying to build the metaverse. It's
so funny. I say the same thing almost every day.
Do you want to clarify for our audience a bit?
Yeah. So good for Zuckerberg getting away with that name, but the metaverse is certainly not Meta. The metaverse is basically an improved social media experience where you can monetize things inside this sort of world. You can section things off. They can become assets known as NFTs. It's just going to be a place where people are going to be hanging out, where there's going to be attention. And where there's people's attention, there's always money. Right. For advertisers and brands. And so the metaverse, it's something that's very tangible. It's really real. If you come to our store, you can enter it, you can walk around, you can invite a friend with a link. Your friend can join right there. You can email them the link. You can join right there, just like joining a Zoom meeting. And you can say, oh, wow. And then we could say, yeah, this world itself can be sold where you're hanging out. This meeting itself could be sold. The outfit I'm wearing right now can be sold. The avatar I am right now can be sold. Yeah. Everything here can be sold. And because they can be sold, you say, oh, wow. There's a lot of potential there, and there really is. And thank you to Fortnite and Roblox and these brands for saying, oh wow, digital assets can be a thing. I'll pay to look cooler than my friends, in the metaverse, and or things that are done. These meetings, these can be monetized.
I think I really want the users to know. Right now, they are talking about, how evil or how bad Web3 gonna be. Like, there will be people with the most asset controlling the industry. But think about Web2. It's controlled by those several large companies.
No question.
And you don't own anything out of that.
Zuckerberg has an incredible, with a touch of a button, he can manipulate hundreds of millions of people legitimately. Yes, correct. And I think it's pretty well known. The dangers of Web 2. You're absolutely right. One of the reasons why the Web3 community doesn't love Meta is because that's how he thinks. Right. and you really should build a Web3 company differently. Like this is a great example. Our Genesis NFTs, they're going to own wall space forever in our New York store. That's not possible in Web 2 or Web 1. Nobody ever thought that way. You know, if you're Louis Vuitton, would you ever let me go and sell my clothing in their store, or my jewelry in Tiffany? They would never do that, or my electronics in Apple. But us as a Web3 business, from the very beginning, we said we're going to be decentralized.
Right.
And so what does that mean for retail? What it means is they control that, I don't. So they could sell digital assets with a QR code. I can't change what's in there. If I do an event and I take over this wall, I have to pay them or give them something else because they own that. They can walk in like an owner. They can feel proud like an owner. As we grow, these are going to become more and more valuable.
Right.
Because they have access to new cities, first access before anyone else. And so I really believe if you're going to be able to build a Web3 company like we did with Floki, you have to empower people. They have to feel like they're own, like they're in control of what's going on. And we're trying to partner with companies, not as much like Meta, but more on the decentralized side that understand that. And that's what's going to help you grow, because like for us, we have someone asked me yesterday, how many employees do you have? Well, we have 16 employees currently. But we have about 110 holders of these NFTs. So we actually have 126 employees, really. We have 126 people that are excited about us, that are helping us, that are sending us business, that are closing deals for us. So you can really become big fast. You know, I always say I don't deserve to be in this situation as the CEO of the #1 Web3 store in the world, and the kind of revenue we've done, it's unbelievable.
Right.
We've already made more money than our neighbors, and we've just been here 2-3 months, you know. And more money than they'll make their whole year, you know.
Yeah.
So it's incredible what we've been able to do here, and it's only possible because it's decentralized.
Yeah.
Because these people are helping us.
Yeah.
And as a community together, we're going to grow. And guess what? I don't need to hold 100%. I don't need to own 100% of these. You know, Corey, my co-founder, doesn't need to. Our other investors. There's plenty of room to go around.
Right.
Do we need people worth $100-200 billion? Not really. They would, you know. Data says they'd be just as happy being worth 1 billion or 500 million.
Oh, you're talking about the happiness curve or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the happiness curve, what does it say? You need to make 80,000 a year, Harvard study. Everything after that, you start to go down. So I think it's exciting to make a lot of money, but there's more to Web3 than making a lot of money. The community part of it is where a lot of this happiness happens.
Yeah.
We have people in Floki just hanging out still. Just their best friends are in the chat. They have private group chats, there's private groups that have spun off. People have different rarities with NFTs and things like that. This community aspect is incredible. We have a generation that is the most anxious, the most depressed generation of all time. And Web3 is fixing a lot of that because it's bringing people together again. And so these are bigger things than just making money. It's bigger than just technology. Web3 has the ability to either be worse than Facebook and Twitter and Instagram or better.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be better.
Okay.
I really do, for a lot of reasons. I think it's going to be better.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the fact that you bring up the community perspective. You talk about when people owning those different frames, they are actually contributing to your community, the Web3 Gallery community.
Yeah.
And that is actually the new way of people thinking about it, or people working on different things. Essentially, from my perspective, I think to achieve mass adoption is really for people to enjoy the benefits, or they do have seen or experienced the benefits of decentralized technology, and then they have, like, no matter it's economic return or emotional return out of those technology, and they say, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I think just adding to everybody using it. Let's go back to that, because I think that's good for your viewers to understand.
Yeah.
Why is everybody going to use this? And why is it important for them to get involved now? Let's talk about real estate. One of our partner companies, a holder of an alpha frame, is Liquid Acre. Liquid Acre has SEC approval to be able to do real land and turn them into NFTs. Asset value is represented by an NFT.
Right.
And then they can fractionalize that. And so it's really powerful thinking about, okay, the skyscrapers of the future can be owned by 10,000 NFT holders. And in a traditional real estate deal, if you want to sell your portion, you have to get a signature from everybody else on the operating agreement. It's a nightmare. But with NFT technology and smart contracts, that's all automated.
Right.
So and I'm telling you when I say this, we've had big meetings with governments, with Liquidator. There are governments getting involved, massive amounts of money being involved with real estate and NFTs. And so if your home is represented by an NFT, if your investments are represented by an NFT, if your events you're going to are represented by this technology, if where you're hanging out is this technology, how is that not mass adoption?
Right, yeah. I think NFTs or essentially blockchain technology, the apps that we are building helps people to simplify a lot of process. You can actually get to the resource that you really haven't access to.
Yeah. That's what we're so excited with Liquidator. And again, I'm happy to talk about them on this because they're a part of our family. They're a holder of an alpha frame. It's going to be a 5 to 10 minute process in the store. You're going to walk in, you're going to say, it's going to say Liquidator is real estate NFTs or whatever it says. In 5 minutes, you could have bought a actual piece of land somewhere in the world that's providing value, that's adding income. So here's basically what they're doing. They're buying land, or people are giving them land sometimes, but they're buying land. They're putting solar, wind, renewable energy on the land, so it produces income. They are distributing that income to the holders automatically, and it's all SEC approved.
Okay.
So someone could literally have passive income in 5 minutes for as little as $5. That's the power of NFTs. It's incredible. And you don't have to explain everything to people. You just say, own land for $5. Scan this QR code, press a couple buttons. Oh, wow, I own land. And this is how you sell it. It could take 3 minutes. So I think onboarding is going to be a journey, but the very first step, I think, is something like that, where it's like, oh my gosh, I just bought land in El Salvador that's making money. Yeah. And I did it on my phone. And I could sell it in 2 seconds or send it to a friend as a gift. Imagine that as your birthday gift in the future. Oh, here's a $50 worth of land in Peru.
I actually received a gift as that.
Perfect. So you're already. I'll let you know when my birthday is, so you can re-gift it to me.
Okay.
But yeah, the future is exciting. I think we need to make it super simple for people. They don't need to know how the sausage gets made, nor do they want to know. Do we know how the internet works? Not really. It's a series of computers. The computers communicate. I still don't fully understand it, but I use it every day. Yeah. Cars, I definitely don't understand how my car works, but I drive it almost every day. Yeah. I think that's what Web3 needs to be for mass adoption. And these other founders you're interviewing, I think they're a lot smarter and better at the XYZs of crypto, and I'm a lot smarter and better at the ABCs of crypto. And what we're talking about is the ABCs. They'll build the infrastructure. They'll build all the cool stuff that I couldn't in a million years fathom. People like me will bring customers. We are very good at bringing users and getting people excited. Yeah, I think from my side, it's more about I'm trying to find the right narrative or what kind of content should I create for the users so that they can easily understand, right? Yeah. Of course, I think right now in the crypto space, there are many technical contents that's very valuable. But in terms of the mass adoption, really we need to dump down the content a bit. Yeah, I think a great video would be let's mint an NFT. And you just walk them through OpenSea Lazy Mint, and you say, there you go, you got a wallet with an NFT in it. And I think that's gonna go a long way for education. And I think people are gonna stick with you because you taught them that, and there's a lot of stickiness here. Once you get a customer for this new of an industry, they tend to stay for a long time. Right. Like banking is a great example for Web3. They get these people in high school or college to sign up an account. Sometimes they're giving them $25, $50 to sign up. Yeah. Generally, people stay with that bank pretty long term. And the average bank makes about $7,500 profit per customer per year. Wow. So that $25, $50 goes a long way. And I think we need to think about that lifetime value of these customers. And I think for you to do something like that, to walk somebody through that, they're going to really appreciate that, and they're going to want to come back and be a part of your community. And everybody's going to benefit from that. You're going to help them, they're going to help you. You're going to build this sort of decentralized community. Yep. Everybody wins. It's so much better than how we were doing it before. Yeah. Like we're actually thinking about our customer and how to reward them. Business didn't occur that way. We're completely changing our minds. It used to be get people pay them as little as you can, get customers for as cheap as you can, and make as much money as possible. Where Web3 is like, just get people rowing in the same direction.
Yeah.
Some people are rowing as advisors, some people are rowing as NFT holders, some people are rowing as token
And you
holders.
share the profit. You are actually sharing the profit.
Why does anybody need to be worth 200 billion or 100 billion? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Let's row in the same direction. What actually excites these people is not more money, it's more impact. It's changing the world. I really believe Elon, the reason why he wants to make our species multiplanetary is because he wants to have big impact on our generation. Clearly, he's not happy with how much money. He wants more. And so let that be an example for all of us. Even if we get the money we want, we're gonna want more. So we might as well make an impact. And you can make an impact every single day. Most of the people that are running big Web3 companies started as a mod.
Right.
Okay, so get in and make an impact. My Coinbilly runs Invisible Friends. I believe he's project lead now. Started as a mod. Corey, who was all intents and purposes part of the core team of Floki of top 50 currency last year, started as just a good team member, a good community member, leading raids back when raids were early. Now they're a little bit much, but same thing with me. I just came in, was a good community member, and was elevated to marketing, and then continued to be elevated. So if you want to get involved here, I think you should try to be a good community member. Be a mod in a group. Get started. Mint an NFT. Get involved. Reach out to Meina. Say, hey, I'm interested in these kind of things. That way she can keep you in mind. And I think you're going to help that person. That person's going to help you. And then they're going to go and help you grow. Everybody grows together. So we're definitely thinking about business differently, and it's very exciting.
Yeah. I actually completely agree with you. Whenever someone reach out to me, or when I reach out to someone, I will always ask, how can I help you? And I think that's essentially how Web3 should work. I have seen many good partnerships, and I'm looking forward to more of that.
Yeah.
Now I would like to talk a bit about the in-person events that Web3 Gallery have been hosting. So you guys have helped many different projects hosting real-life events. Yeah. And what are the key factors that you think for in-person events in the Web3 space?
Yeah. I think in real life is unbelievable for any company, any deal making, any community. It's just so exciting for these NFT holders or metaverses to get their community together, their investors, advisors, holders, just their family, to get them together. So in real life has been a huge hit. Obviously NFT NYC Consensus and all these are just so exciting to go to. Everybody's so happy they went. And so we've really got a lot of momentum with events, and it's been a really awesome product line. It's going to continue to be a bigger and bigger part of our company as we scale into new markets, is bringing these communities together in real life. We take a lot of the headache out for the companies. First of all, we have about 15% of the world's supply of NFT displays. So there's over 1.2 million of tech in this room. It's just a really cool room to be in. I think other than this, I think we have about 5 times more NFT screens in this room than any other room in the world. So it's a really exciting electric atmosphere for Web3. Right. It's the only Web3 store in the world. And it belongs to the people. We call ourselves the house for your brand, for your Web3 brand. We're just a house. We're just a place for them to come and get together and to house their brand. And so, we had Invisible Friends in last week. We had an awesome big event with Certic and Bitmart and Theirs Verse. We have some really big events coming in the next couple of weeks that I don't know if we've announced yet. But definitely communities. We're working with a really, I would say, a top 10 NFT project on doing some sort of ongoing events. We're working with a lot of companies that have raised a lot of money on doing some ongoing events. It's great for 2 reasons. One, it's a great way to bring new people into the space, especially people that have a lot of success and influence in the real world, into Web3. And so our events have been great for getting big invested capital, big companies to take the leap into Web3, start developing Web3 products and services. And then the second thing is it's just great to bring people better together and strengthen communities. And let communities do deals with each other. I mean, community members need to be doing deals with each other.
Right.
Economics, I taught economics for a semester at a small college, but the key to economics is money changing hands. You know, we need circulation we need deal flow. You know, the average person in these communities needs to be doing deals, and they need to be leveraging those communities to do deals, and that'll grow the whole economy. Everybody wins. So we love doing events. I'm not personally like in charge of that department, but the people we have are incredible, and the events here have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Every single event has been way more worth it than whatever cost it took to do the event. Getting people together, doing deals, having fun, having community, strengthening the community, it's incredible.
Yeah, I have attended some of your events that you hosted here. It's pretty good. And I think it's not only for the people who are in the industry to connect with each other, but also to have a place where people can get to know more people from the industry, so average users can talk to them in person.
Yeah, for sure.
So the other day you talked about your very aggressive expansion plan for Web3 Gallery. Do you want to share a little bit with our audience?
Yeah, I can't say names, but we're working with some of the biggest landlords in the world, the biggest from a retail perspective. And I think that they are really excited about bringing us into all of their locations globally. And it'll be a very strong partnership, will allow us financially to do so. And we can continue to refine how we educate people quickly, bring them in the ecosystem, and then help brands bring in new customers.
Right.
So we're really excited about 25 stores quickly. With 25 stores over a year, we can onboard about 1.5 million people, which will mean if we partner with a marketplace, we could pass OpenSea and users or match them. I'm not saying volume, but users. If we partner with a wallet, we could potentially add 1.5 million new wallets. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're saying, hey, these are going to be really valuable partnerships for these brands. We've proven that we can add users. And so number one, the landlord. What's that deal going to look like? It's looking like a really great deal for all sides, including for our community. Number two is the wallets, the metaverses, the NFT marketplaces. What do those deals need to look like? And so we're working on those deals, but the expansion is looking amazing. We have I'll just say a very large wallet that's getting behind us, the largest. So that's really exciting. We have big landlords getting behind us. You know, it's so funny. When we came to these landlords in January and said, we want to have a Web3 gallery in Times Square or on Fifth Avenue, it took us 6 months to get in here, even though we were paying full price, paying extra, paying big deposit. Because they just didn't trust Web3 stores. They just thought it was a gimmick, it was sketchy, it won't work. And now we've just been open 3 months, and now the landlords come to us. And they say, please come to our store. Please come, bring this life and energy and technology to where we have. So it completely changed. It was us selling to them, now they're selling to us. And so that's just so exciting. I'm so glad they're making that move, because Web3 retail is actually unbelievably exciting.
Right.
A lot of our frames are controlled from around the world. We're putting sensors on these frames to report data in real time of pupil dilation and age and demographic data, so you can measure one digital asset versus another. We don't have inventory, so we're very scalable. We don't need storage. All the assets are in there. This holder, Andy, he can have 1 million assets in his wallet in just one screen and show them all. We don't need to store 1 million things in the back. Also, we don't need the guy from Europe with the magnifying glass to make sure they're real. The blockchain does that for us. So it's really exciting. We're going to grow really fast. There's 7 billion people to onboard. Like I said, with 25 stores, we can onboard about 1 million a year. So we'd like to get to that 7 billion number, at least cross the billion number. So we need to keep growing. There's 15,000 electronics stores just in the US. There's one Web3 store in the world. The market can support tens of thousands of Web3 stores, legitimately. And so we're excited to be a big part of that growth. I know we'll have competition at some point, but right now we don't have any serious competition, so it's exciting.
I'm really looking forward to the exponential growth of Web3 Gallery, and I think with the growth of the store from all over the world, it's gonna have much more impact than right now it has.
Yeah, and we'll allow people in new markets to come to events, to own frames, to be an owner, part of the community. And that's going to be really exciting. It's going to help us to grow even faster. Like I said, we don't have 16 employees, we have 126 employees because of these holders.
You're going to have more.
And that's just going to keep growing at every new market.
Yep.
So, like I said, I don't deserve to be in this position. It's incredible what we've built. And it's just incredible what this has become. And we're just getting started. We certainly have a dynamic team, a nimble team, a fast, a smart team, and we know things are going to change. We know we're going to be incorrect sometimes, correct sometimes. We know we're going to have to learn and get better and better, and we're already getting better. Like when we laid this store out, we had a gallerist from the Louvre tell us where to put everything. We don't need a gallerist. We need an electronics store sort of funnel, not a gallery store. You're not going to convert anybody if they're walking around with their hands behind their back looking at art. You're going to convert them if they walk in and say, okay, how do I get started in Web3?
Yeah.
And so we're learning, we're innovating, we're improving. We're just getting started.
Yep. I'm glad to be part of that journey too.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. And that's the beauty of Web3. You know, like we want to support you, you're going to support us, and we grow together.
Yeah. That's great. So I really enjoyed our conversation to talk about the Web3 growth, the mass adoption, the future potential growth, the in-person events. But before we wrap up our conversation today, you have to share a fun fact about yourself.
So my fun fact, I'll give you two quick fun facts. The first is my grandfather grew up in the poorest street in New York on Gunther Place.
Okay.
He was a plasterer on Fifth Avenue, so he plastered buildings on the street. And now his grandson owns a business on Fifth Avenue.
Wow.
And so that's a really cool American dream.
Yeah.
Just coming from nothing and then being here with this is just incredible.
Yes.
And the second one is when I was a little kid, I would go to the baseball stadium in my city in Wichita. Wichita is a town of about 500,000-600,000 people, and we have a baseball stadium for AA level. And I always wanted to hit a home run in that stadium. That was like one of my goals as a child. After college, they signed me to a contract to play for my home team. I didn't hit a home run the whole year until the last game. It happened to be the last game of the stadium. So they were actually tearing the stadium down I attended as a kid and had that dream.
Wow.
And building a new one. And on the very last game, I hit the last home run.
Wow, epic.
Isn't that a cool story?
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And I'm glad you realized your dream right before it teared down.
Yeah, sometimes when a lot of times when you speak it, it happens. So I wrote down some big goals for this year, and they're happening. And so I'd encourage anybody listening to this, write down big goals, dream big. If you have a goal for a strategy, times it by 10, and you'll probably hit it. Humans are unbelievable. Our brain is unbelievable. Surround yourself with people that raise your expectations for yourself, and you're going to hit it.
Okay, I will write down my goals and times 10.
Or say it. It happens to me every time. So,
great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.